In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to create a web dashboard from an Excel file. I'm going to do this using a tool called iNetSoft StyleBI. It's a free tool. They have a downloadable open source StyleBI, but I'm just going to be using the free online app for that today, since we're creating a web-based dashboard. When you first log into StyleBI, if you haven't created anything, you get this wizard that walks you through the steps of creating a dashboard. So the first step, you can select connect to a data source or upload data file. For Excel, I'm going to click upload data file, and it's going to give me the option of loading an Excel file or a CSV from anywhere on my computer. I'm going to pick one. Now, it defaults to the first row of the Excel table being column names, and they are, so I'm going to leave that checked. Okay, now that I've uploaded, giving me the option of naming my data worksheet that I just created. Now, a data worksheet in StyleBI is basically it's where the data for the dashboard comes from. It either contains an embedded table if you're uploading a file like I am here, or it contains a query that is connected to a data source that I'll get into in later videos. But in this case, it's just an embedded table. So I have to name my data worksheet. I'm going to call it sales dashboard. Okay, next step is create dashboard. And it's bringing me to what's called a visualization recommender. Now, this is not the full dashboard or chart editor. What this is a tool that makes recommendations on what kind of chart or even table to create based on the fields that you choose, and gives you the options to switch around a bit. So it makes it easier. So for example, if I were to just choose salesperson, it's going to default to a word chart, although I could switch it to a table of salespeople, but I want a chart, so I'm going to keep it on that. Now, if I then add another column like sales total, okay, it's switching to having the salesperson's name size based on the sales total. Now, I'm thinking more of a bar chart today, and that's giving me that option. See, there's a bunch of different switches I can easily do for showing the sales people's sales totals, but I'm going to choose the bar chart option, which shows a bar chart where each salesperson's sales are represented by the height of the bar. And I want to also factor in another dimension. So let's say I choose product category. Okay. And it's now decided to add product category along with salesperson to plot them together. And it's decided to switch the axes to make the long bar chart easier to read. Now I'm thinking a stacked bar chart might be better. See, it's giving me a bunch of options for this, but I'm going to go with the stacked bar chart. And that gives me a stacked bar chart where each salesperson's sales totals are broken down further by product category. Now, this is just a recommender. So if I wanted to make more changes that weren't given as options here, I could click through to the full editor. For example, if let's say I wanted the product category to be on the x-axis and the salesperson to be the color breakdown, I could do that. I'm not going to do that because it's too many colors and not enough bars, in my opinion, but it is an option. So I'm going to switch it back. And then there's also a whole library of chart types that I could switch it to if I wanted to. So I'm going to click finish because I have the chart the way that I want it. And it's now asking me to choose a place for the chart on the dashboard. So I'm going to move it a little and then click continue. Now it's having me save the dashboard. So I'm going to give it the same name, sales dashboard. Now, basically, I have a dashboard. It's not very interactive as of yet. There's a mouse overview that gives more information, but I want the end user to be able to interact with this dashboard. So I'm going to add filters. Now, in this toolbox over here on the left-hand side, there's a bunch of filters I could drag out and choose data for, but it's easier to actually just choose a column and drag it out. And if a column is a dimension, it'll default to a selection list, okay, such as company, that's a dimension. So here I have a selection list now for company. And if I wanted to limit the product price, that's a measure. So I pull that out and now I have a slider. So if someone viewed my dashboard now, the end user, they could now limit the data coming in based on choosing a few companies. And they could also set, let's say, a minimum for product price. Like I just want to see data for products that are $200 and more. Okay, and they could see how that updates, or they could make it even higher and see how that updates. So now I have a basic dashboard, a web-based dashboard from an Excel file with interactivity. And there's also further drill down options that are built into the dashboard that I didn't even add. For example, if I were to view this dashboard in the repository, okay, I see I have the option to view the detail level data for any of these data points. So for example, if I were to select Diana's sales in electronics, if I select the data point and I click show details, I'm now viewing the detail level row data that I uploaded to create the dashboard, but just for salesperson Diana and just for the product category electronics. And I can download that if I want to. So that can be useful for data analysis. In addition, someone viewing this dashboard who doesn't have the capability to edit it can make their own edits just for their own view with this edit button here. They can make ad hoc edits. So, you know, let's say, for example, if they wanted the color to be broken down by region instead of category, they could drag out category and then drag region into the color. And now they have in their own view of the dashboard, they have the bars broken down by region instead of category. So that's just some interactivity that's built into the software that I don't have to add. So that's how you create a web dashboard from an Excel file using StyleBI by Inesoft. For the next video, I'm going to demonstrate how to create a web dashboard from a Google Sheets file, one that pulls the data from the Google Sheets file live and responds to updates to the Google Sheets file. So stay tuned for that.